We hold so much more than just the business that
Right.
we are building. And I want women to realize that it is okay to be selfish, that even though we have all of these other responsibilities that we still can put ourselves first in the midst of that. I want us to not only take advantage of the tools that are out there, but I want us to speak up and say, hey, I don't have it together. I actually do need help. I may
Mm.
look like I have it together, but I'm crying, late at night, or I'm crying in the shower. I want us to be okay with saying I'm not okay. But the problem with that is you're always setting the goalpost like higher and higher and higher. So you're never going to get to a place where you feel like you are
Mhm.
worthy of taking a break. So I realized that a lot of women don't necessarily have productivity issues, they have capacity issues.
We are back with another episode of the Self Care Oasis podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Gregory, the Self Care Alchemist and your tech wellness consultant. I help women go from burnout to better boundaries, more balance and bliss. And if you happen to be a woman in business, I help you calm your tech chaos and anxiety by giving you smooth systems to integrate into your business. I am welcoming my guest, Miss Alisha Robertson. She is here to talk about her journey and an amazing new app that she's created. So welcome, Alisha. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. I just love having these kind of conversations, especially with tech adjacent girlies, because I'm a tech girly. So introduce yourself and tell us who you are, the type of work that you do, who you help, and let's get started.
I'm Alisha Robertson. I am the founder of Do, which is a burnout prevention app specifically for exhausted women entrepreneurs. Do is DEW. It actually stands for Doing Everyday Well, but I shortened it a little bit for the app purposes. And yeah, I have spent nearly 15 years as an entrepreneur in some capacity. And it wasn't until I realized that the type of burnout that I was experiencing, like flowing in and out of burnout constantly, it wasn't until I actually had my daughter and really struggled with postpartum depression that I realized that the way I was running my business was not sustainable. It was not going to allow me to be the type of mom I wanted to be, the type of woman I wanted to be, and definitely not the type of entrepreneur that I wanted to be. So I have really made it my mission to help other women, specifically women entrepreneurs, to just break that cycle of burnout. And one of the things I realized why I'm specifically focusing on women is because, yes, we are running the businesses, but we are also typically the ones who are making the appointments. We're doing the grocery shopping. If the kids get sick, we're the ones who, are typically called first. We hold so much more than just the business that
Right.
we are building. And I want women to realize that it is okay to be selfish, that even though we have all of these other responsibilities that we still can put ourselves first in the midst of that. And I'm hitting the women entrepreneurs specifically because it's so easy to get wrapped up in your brand, and it's really easy to put yourself last. And I don't want that for us.
And I love that. I think that is so important too, that you focus on women entrepreneurs because, like you said, we juggle so many hats,
Yeah.
and there's often no relief for us. There's because
Yeah.
everybody looks at us like, oh, she's got it together. She's running a
Hmm.
business, handling her bills. She's not asking us for
Hmm.
help or whatever. So she's got it. She's got it. So, but that's
Yeah.
so it's such a fallacy, and I think
Hmm.
that it's important for us to be vocal about it,
Yeah.
and let people know, yeah, we do still need help and support. Just because we make it look easy doesn't mean that it is easy.
Yeah. And I don't want us to continue to silently suffer
Mhm.
too. I want us to not only take advantage of the tools that are out there, but I want us to speak up and say, hey, I don't have it together. I actually do need help. I may
Mm.
look like I have it together, but I'm crying, late at night, or I'm crying in the shower. I want us to be okay with saying I'm not okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, there's this Korean drama that I love called "It's Okay to Not Be Okay," and
Hmm.
it's about mental health because I think it does boil down to our
Hmm.
mental and our emotional health as well as our physical health. And we often end up burning candles at both ends of the candle. So we burn out when we get to the middle. And when you add layer on, like you mentioned, postpartum depression, because I mean, that adds an entire new depth that most entrepreneurs really don't consider. Because if you've been in business, if you are in business and then you have to add a baby to the equation
Mhm.
and all the hormonal upheaval and dysregulation that happens, because I went through that as well, the postpartum, and
Mhm.
it was a different feeling than regular depression.
Yeah, yeah. And it's oh, we could talk all day about that because I was not expecting that at all. And as someone who has always kind of experienced like anxiety and little bits of
Mhm.
depression, like I almost felt wrong for feeling depressed when I had my daughter because it's like, girl, you were home. You have this perfect being. Like, she's amazing. Like,
Mhm.
it's supposed to be a time where you are expected to be excited and happy
Yeah,
and joyful. And it's like, no, I just spent 9 months carrying this kid. They sent me home with no instruction manual.
thank you.
I have no clue what I'm doing. It's screaming at me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. And it's a really tough spot for a lot of women to go through.
Absolutely. I think when I'm no longer in that stage, I have grown kids now, and that is still something that sticks out in my mind about the process of having a child. I didn't have it as badly with my second child as I did my first, but it was still a real thing. And then when you have people around you who are like, want you to kind of snap out of it and they want you to almost like get over it. It's just like, but
Yeah.
I just kind of went through a traumatic experience here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give me a little bit of grace?
Yeah.
And I didn't really have the capacity to give my own self grace at the time. And so, like I said, that layered more on top of what was already happening. But we do eventually get past it. We eventually learn how
Mhm.
to cope with it,
Yeah.
some in healthy ways, some in not so healthy ways.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that you've had your bouts of anxiety and other forms of what we call mental health issues. So
Mhm.
what was that like? And in your process of deciding, you know what, this is leading to burnout, I need to do something different about it. What was that process or your mindset shift that happened for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing what I know now, I know that I was just a very anxious kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we just kind of oh, she's just quiet, she's just shy, but no, I was a very anxious child.
Mm-hmm.
But as I started to get older, I just found different ways to cope with it. I knew that if I just kinda stayed in the background and I was quiet and I didn't have too much eyes on me, I would be okay. And in entrepreneurship, you're all of a sudden putting yourself out there and you're pretty much asking people to pay attention to you constantly, and that didn't help at all, but when I first started my very first business, I started around the same time as the girl boss era,
Oh,
the
wow.
lean in era, the marketing bro era. So I was started during a time when everyone was preaching, hustle harder. You could sleep when you're dead. If you want to be successful, you need to be constantly going. Like, you shouldn't be going out with your friends. You need to be working. And as someone who didn't have any other like role models to look up to, that's what I thought
Mm-hmm.
meant, what I thought I had to do in order to be successful. So I adopted that. Like,
Yeah.
even though I would feel anxious and I would wake up with the heaviness in my chest, and I would just think, if I keep going, I'm going to make more money, I'll be more successful, and then I can finally rest, or then I can finally kind of like cut back.
Yeah.
But it never happened. You're just constantly in this cycle because you say in your head, okay, once I hit this amount of money, I will take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Or once I, hit this, I don't know, milestone, then I'll finally cut back. But the problem with that is you're always setting the goalpost like higher and higher and higher. So you're never going to get to a place where you feel like you are
Mm-hmm.
worthy of taking a break. And because I was receiving so much of this information of you need to be doing more, you need to be bigger, you need to be better, I thought that that's what it meant to be
Right.
successful. So I spent years just flowing in and out of this cycle of burnout because I seriously thought that that's what it took in order for me to get to where I wanted to be. And I realized that one, you don't have to burn yourself out
Right.
constantly in order to succeed. I do think that there are seasons of your business where it will require more of you and it will require
Mm-hmm.
more work, but that doesn't mean that you have to push yourself to the limit or past your limit. And then
Mm-hmm.
also I realized too that I was following these people, but their idea of success was not my idea of success. Like they were trying to build at the time these huge companies that were like multi-million dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I wasn't married yet. I definitely didn't have a child then. So like I was just trying to pay my bills and
Right.
get by. Like I didn't necessarily need to do all of that in order for me to achieve the idea of success that I had back then. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it took so much of me going through burnout, and then I'll say, okay, I'm tired. I'll give myself a day off. And then I come right back to work and flow right back into that same pattern. And again, it wasn't until I had my daughter and I was still trying to keep up with that same flow of working, like still
Mm-hmm.
taking on clients, still trying to market, still trying to put out content, and still trying to do all of these things when I was like, wait, like this doesn't make any sense. And mind you, too, my daughter was maybe a year old, almost a year old, and we had just gotten into what we know now was a global pandemic.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So it's like, girl, the world is literally shut down, and you were
Right.
still trying to keep up with this same hustle. And I just realized, like, okay, taking a day off is not working. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying the work that I'm doing. I'm actually miserable doing it, despite having clients that I actually enjoy, despite getting good feedback and things from them. I'm not enjoying this anymore. And like,
Right.
I don't like the person that I am. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
really just did not like who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
I can't keep trying to make a million different fixes in my business. That's not going to work. I can't keep taking 2 days off and then go right back into the same pattern of work that landed me into burnout in the first
Mm-hmm.
place. And I just said, you know what? I give up. I'm done. I don't have nothing else in me. I just can't no more. And
Right.
I made that decision. Okay, I am going to just quit. At that point, I was coaching other women entrepreneurs, and I decided, okay, I'm going to wrap up everybody that I'm working with. I am going to step away from creating content. I am going to
Mm-hmm.
just shut down my business. I'm not going to offer anything else. And I am just going to take some time, ride out this pandemic that we all thought was going to last 2 weeks.
Right.
And I'm just going to take some time and just figure out what it is that I want. So
Mm-hmm.
I spent a little over a year getting into therapy, actually talking about the postpartum depression and putting a name on it because I didn't know
Okay.
that's what I was experiencing at the
Okay.
time,
Mm-hmm.
and talking through my anxiety, and spent a lot of time getting back into my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women always say after they have a baby, like, I want to get back to myself. I want to get back to me. And I think that we have to embrace that after we have a child that we are a new version of
Yes.
ourselves, and that's not a
Yes.
bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to, instead of chasing who I was before, I needed to figure out who this new version of me was. And that took a lot of work. I went and got a job for a little while. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to let it go and figure it out. And like through that time of just getting clear about what I wanted and
Mm-hmm.
who I was, like that is where the blossom of dew started to kind of bloom.
Oh my gosh. You
Yeah.
have said such a, you have said a few words here.
Oh,
I'm just saying in terms of just the beginning of your journey
mhm.
with bro culture, bro marketing, tech, and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. Because I was there too, girl. I
Yeah.
was a mommy blogger. I was doing
Yeah.
all the things influencer wise,
Mm.
and it was taking a toll because I was a single mother and
Mm.
trying to keep up with the business Joneses, as it were.
Yeah.
And that was unsustainable, just like you mentioned. It's
Mhm.
like, and then add on top of everything else the trying to be the parent, and I was working full time, and then I had the nerve to go to school and all this kind of stuff. So it was just like, what am I really doing? And like you, going through that burnout relief cycle. Not no, that's not the name I called it then, of course, but
Mhm.
going through those different cycles of on again, off again, starting over and revamping all the things because we're trying to follow everything all the gurus are saying, and we're
Mhm.
wearing ourselves out.
Yeah.
Knowing now, we didn't need all those tools. We didn't need
Yeah.
all
Mhm.
those classes. We didn't need all those conferences and
Mhm.
workshops. We just needed the basics
Mhm.
so that we could create the life that we actually wanted, not what they said we needed.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important for especially women now who are contemplating business or in business or
Mhm.
revamping their business. Create the life you want.
Yeah.
Create it and design it the way you want to design it. And you don't have to have all the answers. You just need to have the answer for today.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I'm so grateful that you took a step back and
Mhm.
that you just reevaluated and recalibrated so
Yeah.
that you could come back with a clear view of who you are as a person and create the business around your life versus
Yeah.
the other way. So,
Yeah.
You're a healer, not a help desk. But there you are, 14 tabs open, 3 tools that don't talk to each other, and a quiet knot in your stomach every time something breaks. That's not a you problem, that's a systems problem, and it's quietly burning you out. Samantha Gregory is a fractional CTO and the founder of Bliss Tech Solutions, as well as a former NASA, Google, and Intuit consultant with 30 plus years of tech and training experience. Now she helps make tech simple for tech stressed wellness coaches. In one session, they feel calmer and clear on the easiest tech stack for their business. They get their tech to work for them. No hustle, no shame about what you don't already know. Start with the business capacity audit to find out exactly what's draining you and what to fix first. Take the 2-minute audit at blisstechsolutions.com/audit.
let's talk about do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is your baby now.
It
And
is.
I did do a little sneak peek and see what it's all about. I was so excited. I said, I've got to talk to this lady because she is doing something that I truly love. It's tech and it's wellness combined. And so I'm going to let you introduce
Uh-huh.
Do and tell us all what it is, why you created it, and what you can expect from it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is actually, I think, my first time I'm talking about do on like a podcast. So thank you for
You're
inviting me.
welcome.
Yeah, so again, Do is a wellness and burnout prevention app specifically for exhausted women entrepreneurs. When I was going through my year of figuring things out, I realized that while I was having all these conversations with other entrepreneurs about how to build their businesses, a lot of them were always stuck around I need more time. I need to be more productive. I need to be doing more. I can't seem to just go all in and like I have all of these other things going on. And I realized that that was a common trait among a lot of my women clients. And so when I was thinking about do, it came to me one day that like what a lot of women entrepreneurs don't have, well, what they think they have is a productivity issue. They
Hmm.
think that they need to be doing more. They think that just because their to-do list is a mile long, that they need to complete everything on their to-do list.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest ways that we're going to end up in burnout is by solely planning out your week, planning out your day based on your to-do list. But I realized that a lot of women don't necessarily have productivity issues. They have capacity issues. So when
Mhm.
we're going into the week, they are filling up their calendars. And I'm saying us, like me too, filling up their
Yes.
calendars with all these to-dos, all these meetings, all these calls. And then they get to the end of the week and they're wondering why one, I didn't complete anything, and two, I am exhausted and I don't feel well. And it's
Mhm.
because, again, they are paying attention to what they have to do and not what they actually have the capacity to do. So I
Right.
created inside of the app something called the capacity calculator. So every
Awesome.
single Sunday, you get an alert and you go through like this 10-step quiz. And when I say quiz, it's super quick. It takes less than like 2 minutes. And the questions are based on how you actually feel mentally,
Mm,
physically, and emotionally. And at the end of that quiz, it will let you know whether you are at a low, medium, or high capacity. And based on that capacity level, it will give you instructions on how to best plan out your week so that you are still getting things done in your life, in your business, but that you are also not pushing yourself beyond the energy that you actually have to give.
mm,
Because we know if you are very low energy, barely have the minimum, if week after week after week, you're constantly pushing yourself beyond that, you're going to end up in burnout. So the app tells you how to plan out your week based on your actual energy. So if you
mm,
are at a low capacity week, it's going to say, hey, this week needs to be dedicated to more time to you to, kind of refill up your cup. And it'll give you
mhm,
tips on how to do that. But also, here's how to structure your week. Focus on the things that absolutely have to get done or the things that will move the needle in your business. So anything that's going to make you money, basically, is
yes.
what you should only be focusing on a low capacity week. But if you're
Mhm,
at a high capacity week, you got some room to like play. You can work on those bigger tasks. You can maybe take on a few extra calls and do a little bit more because you have more energy. But the whole basis is to track that data because as entrepreneurs, we're always told before you make any type of decision in your business, look at the data, right?
mhm, mhm,
And I want us to take that same concept and use it in our personal life. So as the weeks go, it's going to track those capacity levels. And if you have too many low capacity weeks consecutively, the app is going to say, hey, girl, it's time to chill
mm,
out a little bit. You are pushing it. You need to, take better care of yourself. You need to cut back some. I want women entrepreneurs to be able to see, okay, this is what my life has been like the past few months. I am getting close to burnout. Let me make some changes now because burnout is a lot easier to redirect before you're actually in it.
right.
When you're in it, that's when things start getting fuzzy. That's when it's a lot harder to dig yourself out of that hole. So I want us to stay as far away from there as possible. And the best way to do that is through tracking our moods, tracking our energy levels week over week. So that's what the app helps us to achieve. And then there's also little reminders every single day. So I want more women to make rest a daily priority and not
Mhm,
just an afterthought, not just something that they feel like they have to earn for
mhm,
working harder. So every single day you plan out your what I call your me hour
yeah.
inside of the app. And it's basically you choose what you want to spend 15 minutes on something for your body, so movement, 15 minutes on mindfulness, and then 30 minutes just simply doing something that brings you joy and you
Mm,
plan it right there in the app. You check it off as you're doing it. There's going to be a little confetti that comes
for sure.
down. And it's my way of making sure that we are prioritizing ourselves every single day. And I want us to put that hour on our calendar and make it just as important as a business meeting and a doctor's appointment.
Mhm,
Like making that time for yourself is very important. So I want us to create that habit of planning out that 1 hour for ourselves every single day. And an hour may not seem like a lot, but that 1 hour kind of accumulated over time really does benefit your overall well being. So, yeah, that is due. And then I'm not just leaving you hanging to like figure things out by yourself. I have guides,
okay.
meditations, videos, like everything that you need to truly become more selfish and
Mhm.
make yourself a daily priority. Yeah.
Yeah, see, you said my favorite word, selfish, because we absolutely must be more selfish with
Yeah.
ourselves, our time, our energy.
Mhm.
And I love that you have the capacity
Mhm.
tracker basically inside of
Yeah.
the app because,
Mhm.
like you said, I don't think people recognize how little capacity we actually have for the things that we need to do, but the things that we want to do.
Yeah.
And so it's important to be able to
Well,
recognize that and give ourselves the tools and not just the tools, because the app is a tool, but also
yeah.
shifting the mindset around what capacity looks like
Yeah.
and how we can increase it for ourselves. Because
Mhm.
I think a lot of times we feel like we are bottomless pit of doing for others.
Mhm.
And we have so much to give to our kids and so much to give to our job and so much to give to our business. And like we have endless amounts of capacity for
Yeah.
that. But then when we really look at it, it's like, yeah, girl, you don't have any.
Yeah, no.
Have nothing.
Mm-mm.
Sit down somewhere until you fill it
Mhm.
up again. And your hour of me time is the way to kind of start to fill it
Yeah.
up. And I'm like, look, you fill it up and you wait, don't give anything else until it's overflowing.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's literally how you remain at a full capacity
Mhm.
so that you have enough to give for yourself. And
Exactly.
then overflow is for other people. It
Mhm.
is for your business. It is for everything that you desire to do
Mhm.
because you've given yourself the space,
Yeah.
the energy to actually do that. But again, it takes a mindset shift to really
Yeah.
understand that. And it takes some deprogramming and
Mhm.
because we've been brainwashed to believe, like you said earlier, that productivity is the indicator of success.
Yeah.
It's just busy work.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, if you are at a low capacity week and you're trying to do all these things, are the tasks you complete in actually moving the needle in your business? Or are you just doing things again because you feel like you should be doing
Right.
things? You know, like
Right.
you didn't need to like fix that picture on your website for the 10th time.
But we find, and I think that's also an indicator of how low our capacity is because if you only have the energy to fix a picture on your website, that's
Mhm.
telling you something.
Yeah.
You are in a
Mhm.
very depleted place,
Yep.
and that's a
Mhm.
wake up call to let you know that there is something that you need to be letting go and leaning back. Because
Yeah.
you mentioned the era of the lean in. Now it's
Mhm.
like, look, you better let go and lean back.
You're right.
Give yourself some space
Exactly.
so that you can show up for yourself first and build capacity for yourself first, and then everything else will fall into place. Because now you're not coming from a place of an empty cup or deficiency or deficit. It is only from fullness that you
Yep.
can really be in a state of what true productivity can look like. If
Mhm.
you want to call it that, I don't like that anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, especially Black women, we all know that one woman, where it's our grandma, our mom, our auntie, who is always giving to other people to the
Hmm.
point where she doesn't even realize that she hasn't sat down all
Right.
day. And
Right.
like, I don't want that for us, as we're ushering in this new generation. Like, I want for my daughter and her
Hmm.
generation to see, like, it's okay to rest. If I cook a full meal for these people, I'm not cleaning it up. Like,
And hard.
y'all can do that part. Like, I want, and like, I show her now, like, okay, I'm going to go lay down. Well, I'm going to take a nap. You have things you can do while I
Hmm.
chill out. And, she'll say, okay, mommy, like, you have your time. You go have your time. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, thank you.
Hmm.
I'm thankful for the women who brought us up, who got us this far, and for how hard they work. And I know in a lot
Hmm.
of ways, rest was just not feasible for them. But I want this new generation to see, like, it's okay for me to rest. It is
Hmm.
okay for me to choose myself. It is okay for me to tell people no if
Yeah.
that is going to benefit my well being.
Absolutely. And I think also one thing that is really important to differentiate between resting as escape versus resting as replenishment.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times
Mhm.
especially if you're in a depressive state, like
Mhm.
oftentimes you get in the bed and you just stay there for days, your bed
Yeah.
rot, versus resting for replenishment where it's there
Mhm.
to heal your internal
Mhm.
systems, to, refresh them, to
Mhm.
feel like you have rested and
Yeah.
now you feel energized.
Yeah.
So I think that's an
Mhm.
important distinction to make as
Mhm.
well because people are like, yeah, I'm always in the bed.
Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah, but are you fixing the problem for why you're in the
Right, right. Because it's easy to get confused about all of that. And I think that's where self-awareness comes in and
Mhm.
making sure that I hate to say the right thing or the right reason,
Mhm.
but the reason could be on one end of the spectrum or another, and you want
Yeah.
to find some balance in that,
Yeah.
and deal with whatever is causing you to just stay in the bed is on
Right.
end versus using that time as a replenishment and renewal and recalibration
Yeah.
time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, where can we find you? When is it launching?
Yeah.
And then what platforms can we find it on?
Yeah, it'll be launching in September. I'm only doing like a beta launch to those on the wait list. So if you want to
Mhm.
join the wait list, you can go over to doingeverydaywill.com. I am always online talking about it, talking about rest, talking about taking better care of yourself. My handle is Doing Well with Alisha on social media if you want to find me there. And then when the app launches, we're starting off just as a web platform for right now, a web app for right now, just until we like work out some kinks. But it is also mobile responsive. So, you don't have to worry about always having to have your tablet or laptop available to you.
Excellent. I like that. I think that the web app initially is great because that way people get used to it. They can write out and they can see what
Mhm.
works best for them, and having this kind of self-care assistant available,
Mhm.
feels a little luxurious too. So
Yeah.
I love that. And I love the name. I don't know why, it just does something. It's like
Thank
it's freshness,
Yeah.
it's replenishing, it's nourishing. So,
Mhm.
I'm thankful that have the vision to create this kind of app and to be able to share it with us. What is your long-term goals for the app, and are you planning on creating anything else?
Yeah. I keep telling people I think that Do is my legacy brand.
Okay.
I've been an entrepreneur, like I said, off and on in some capacity for almost 15 years now, and I'm
Yes.
tired. And like as I'm getting closer to 40, I'm just like, okay, what do I want this
Yes.
next kind of half of my life to look like? And I want
Mhm.
a lot more ease. My goal right now is to get the app out there and to get it in as many hands as possible. Like when people think about wellness specifically for entrepreneurs, I want them to think of Do. And
Okay.
I want to be able to expand beyond the app from, having retreats and in-person
Mhm.
events and having products that can accompany you while you're using the app. I want it to be a big brand, and I eventually
Mhm.
want to license out the app to other companies and
Mhm.
startups to be able to use for their employees. So, yeah, I don't know what God has in store for me as far as the future, but I'm a lot more intentional with building this company as
Mhm.
a brand that eventually won't need me.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
like Look, ease and flow and
Yes.
living life,
Mhm.
without being in the trenches of your business
Yes.
is
Yeah.
is the goal. So
Yes.
yeah, I love
Yes.
that. I love that. Well,
Mhm.
Alicia, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
You can find all her information in the description box below. We are excited about this new experience that we're going to have. And I think it's going to be an experience,
Yeah.
not just an app, but with
Mhm.
this new experience with Do. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your vision and your talents with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of the Self Care Oasis podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone else, because I know that they need these type of platforms and conversations so that they're no longer living in overwhelm, overwork, overfunctioning, and people pleasing. So go out there, grab your bliss, and live it shamelessly. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
You're a healer, not a help desk. But there you are, 14 tabs open, 3 tools that don't talk to each other, and a quiet knot in your stomach every time something breaks. That's not a you problem. That's a systems problem, and it's quietly burning you out. Samantha Gregory is the founder of Bliss Tech Solutions. She helps midlife Black women wellness practitioners get their tech to work for them. No hustle, no shame about what you don't already know. Start with the business capacity audit to find out exactly what's draining you and what to fix first. Book it at blisstechsolutions.com/audit.